Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar with Lily's Little Lunchbox. My name is Emily. I'm the Senior Campaign Lead here at Birchal. And just before I introduce you to the team, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we are coming to you from today. Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So today I'm joined by Chris, Cara, and Natalie from Lily's Little Lunchbox. I feel like I keep tripping over my words with that one, but basically, Birchal is working with them on their upcoming crowdsource funding offer. A few of you might be a little bit unfamiliar with what crowdsource funding or CSF is, or you might even know it as equity crowdfunding, but it's a relatively new form of fundraising here in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors, as well as wholesale and sophisticated investors through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, and often that's their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. Birchal Financial Services will be the licensed intermediary for the offer. And I do just want to remind everybody who is watching today or who might be watching the replay that the discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. So I would implore you to please do your own research and always consider the offer document and general CSF risk warning before investing. If you do need any more information or if you have any questions, please just head over to birchal.com. Now, how today's session is going to run, I'll hand over to the team at Lily's Little Lunchbox, who is going to take us through a great presentation, which will be approximately 15 to 20 minutes long, all about the company, where they've come from, and what they're looking to achieve with this capital raise. And then we'll switch to a Q&A session. So if you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a little Q&A bubble. And if you've got any questions during today's session, just pop them in the Q&A box as we go along, and we'll endeavour to answer as many of those as possible at the end. Also, we are recording today's session, so if you do need to jump off early or you think somebody might be interested in this investment opportunity, a recording will be sent around. So enough from me. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Cara, who will get started on the presentation.
Thank you, Emily. Hi, everyone. My name is Cara. I am obviously the founder of Lily's Little Lunchbox, and I have two of my directors here with me, so Natalie Cook and Chris Hayden. They will introduce themselves a little later, but firstly, before I start, I actually just want to thank everyone for taking the time. I know you've all got busy schedules, so taking the time to meet with us today, listen to what we have to say. I know there are also a lot of familiar faces here with current shareholders from our 2023 raise. So I just want to say a big thank you for all your support. Our growth and development wouldn't be where it is today without your influence, your impact, and your support. So thank you so much for that. Sorry. Firstly, I just wanted to bring you up to speed with our why, my background, our mission, how the Lily's Little Lunchbox was founded, because I believe that these are the key factors that will lead to the future success of our business. So firstly, my why. So I am like every other parent. I'm a busy working mum who's time poor. I've always understood the daily struggle of having to wake up early each morning to prepare healthy and nutritious lunches for my daughter, Lily. Obviously, that's where the name comes from. I am a dietitian, which means I am extremely passionate about health and well-being for all Australians. Given my education, I'm extremely fortunate that I understand what to pack in my daughter's lunchbox, but I understand how overwhelming and confusing and time-consuming it can be for parents when they are preparing lunchboxes for their kids. So this is the exact reason why I created Lily's Little Lunchbox, to help parents by removing the stress and hassle of preparing lunches daily, and instead providing kids with fresh, healthy, dietitian designed, pre-made meals that they can take to school and daycare. And just so you know, adults are also loving our lunches too. So they're not just for kids. Initially, we launched with kids only in mind, but now we're very excited to share that we are expanding into seniors, aged care, NDIS participants, active teens, and busy adults. So we are tapping into rapidly growing markets, and this is all because of the demand from Australians reaching out to us across the nation, asking if we are in these markets yet. So with Australia's ageing population, there's an increasing demand for affordable, nutritious and accessible meals that are fresh and cater to specific dietary needs. And as a business that is founded by a dietitian, I can guarantee you're in the right hands with us. So many older Australians and eligible NDIS participants struggle to find fresh, wholesome meals that meet their nutritional requirements, or they may simply not be able to prepare these meals for themselves. And we're here to change that and support them. So just as an example this week of the impact that we're making on these demographics, I was talking to one of our lovely customers in Queensland. She reached out saying, I'm sitting here with my 93-year-old grandmother. She has dementia. She is unable to prepare meals for herself. Your meals, can she purchase your meals on the home care package? So as of today, we are very excited to announce that we have just launched our home care package menu. This is something that has been in the works for about a year now. We are very proud of this expansion because we're opening up to new markets, but also supporting those who need it the most. So this is not the first time Australians have reached out to us and asked us these questions. We get these questions on a daily basis. This is exactly what drives us and gives us the confidence in what we are doing. So this business is incredibly personal to me. As a dietitian, I've always been extremely passionate about helping all Australians improve their health at scale through food, nutrition education and convenience. And as a mum, I understand firsthand the struggle of balancing work and life and being present for your children. So there is nothing more rewarding than knowing the impact that we're having on the Australian population and that we're making a real difference. So whether it's a child trying a new food for the first time, a parent relieved to have saved 2 hours in the morning preparing lunches, or an eligible NDIS or home care package participant who is enjoying meals that meet their dietary needs. This is why we're doing what we're doing. So I know you're all eager to get into the Q&A section of this call. So I'm going to hand over to Natalie Cook now to introduce herself, and I look forward to answering some of your questions later on. Thank you.
Awesome, Cara. Thank you. My name's Natalie Cook. I'm a 5-time Olympian gold and bronze medalist in the sport of beach volleyball. And I wish I had Lily's active range when I was competing so that I didn't have to go and find the right foods in between games and or prepping pre-game or after game. But I found Lily's little lunchbox about 12 months ago when I was about this time last year making dozens of sandwiches for my daughter Jordan to make her lunch. And I thought, I have over 10 years of this to go. There has to be a better way. And of course, Cara, give me the sample pack. Now I pack lunches like this. It is fantastic. And I know because of the dietitian behind it, and the amazing, caring, loving mum, that all of the nutrients and everything I need for my daughter is in there. And then, of course, I gave a nudge to the team and said, well, we need Lily's active, because we need to make sure that when my daughter, and me for that matter, go and play sport, that there is the right amount of protein and the right nutritious value for their growing muscles and body. And that's just not for sport, that's for daycare and kids at school. And I take them for my corporate boardroom meetings because it's too hard for me to get in and out of meetings to make sure I eat the right food. So not only as all of the sectors that Cara's spoken about, it is for the adult that's busy, it is for every single living body, actually, to make sure you get the right nutrients to have you be the best you can be. I'm all about high performance, and so I know that when my daughter has, and I think it's right here, the sausage rolls in this pack, there's veggies in there, Cara. What have you hidden in there?
There's even chia seeds in there too.
Oh, all the good stuff. So when I finished competing as an Olympian, I wanted to know what I was going to do with my excitement, my passion, my life, and my expertise. And so boards I'm fortunate enough to be on the World Olympian Association board, looking after all the living Olympians around the world. Fortunate also to be on the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Organising Committee for the amazing global event coming here in just over 7 years. And I was looking for another organisation, and I had lots of due diligence. I had a big matrix of what I was going to put my name and my brand and my time to, because we all know how important time is to our life. And of course, Lilly's Little Lunchbox helps us get time back. But the amazing team of Chris and Cara and everybody they've assembled to deliver these nutritious, amazing meals to the community made me choose Lilly's Little Lunchbox. So I'm now a director, proud director, and I use the product and I drink the shakes and I just love the fresh smoothies. You didn't even touch on the fresh smoothies. There is so much going on. It is so exciting. And my 83-year-old father loves Lilly's Little Lunchbox as well, because he got sick of baked beans on toast and ham and cheese tomato sandwiches. So
we've now got the home care menu for him to choose from.
Very awesome. So let me now handball to the business brains behind the two beautiful dietitian and sporting athlete. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Nat, and thank you, Cara, and thank you everyone for joining on the call. I might just scoot a bit closer so I can share the screen, bring up a bit of a presentation for everyone. You might recall my voice. I know that and Cara and Nat, we've been on the phones a lot lately, trying to get in touch with every single one who's expressed interest in this current campaign, and also the investors that have been on the journey for the last couple of years, and are also looking to participate in this current raise as well. So we've been talking to as many of you as we can. There's a lot of familiar faces on the call, and I look forward to giving you a bit of a presentation shortly. I just need to find the share screen button, which I had a second ago. Just bear with me 1 second. Can't seem to locate it. Where was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, share. Yeah. Okay. So, bear with me 1 second. So, as many of you would already know, but for those fresh faces, my name is Chris Hayden. I am a co-director here at Lilly's Little Lunchbox. I have a long history in startups and being around businesses that have started from nothing, an idea around a kitchen table that's been taken through proof of concept. Many businesses that have gone through multiple equity raises, both debt and equity raises. Some businesses here based in Australia, in the media space and real estate space. Other businesses I've been close to in offshore exploration and mining, and a lot of those businesses have gone all the way through to clear exits and IPOs on international stock markets. Some of them at $1 billion plus valuations. So what I love about Lilly's Little Lunchbox and what we're doing here is wrapping real commercial viability around a genuine why and a really clear, unique product that solves a pretty special and common problem, not only across the country but across the world. So, as Nat said, we've got quite a strong team supporting a very unique and impactful business and product. So I know a lot of you are familiar with the business, familiar with the journey so far, but we wanted to take this opportunity to show you a bit of an update on what we've done so far and where we're heading. So very briefly, I know Cara touched on it, is the business started originally looking at solving a problem for busy families trying to feed their kids, specifically at school. Hence why the bento style lunchbox was designed with a long shelf life for fresh ready-made meals, with the view of being Australia's largest tuck shop, home delivering fresh dietitian designed meals. That's more than just a product, more than just a healthy lunchbox. It's also an education piece that helps families teach their kids, teach their family members what a healthy meal looks like, and it really helped to solve Australia's challenging health crisis that we're into as a result of children just not eating enough fruit and veg or knowing what a healthy meal looks like. So there's a very clear mission. very ambitious goals, and we've got a very unique product to address that specifically. Again, we've touched on the team. You've met our 3 directors here. All this information will be in the offer document as well, which will be provided early next week. A bit of a highlight here of our advisory team, a group of gentlemen that have been very supportive over the last number of years, some of which have worked at Nestle and helped them grow particular food businesses. Others have started and exited their own food business in Frank Di Pasquale with his business Quality Food and Beverage. That business was acquired by a larger business a couple of years ago, and now Frank's got some time on his hands, so he's been great and instrumental in assisting us in opening doors with suppliers and negotiating specific quite advantageous supplier arrangements with our packaging suppliers, for example. So the strategic team that we're putting around us is quite influential and critical to our growth. And again, back to the product, which I think everyone's quite familiar with in terms of our bento style lunchbox. But it looks pretty simple, it looks pretty special, but it's actually quite unique in the R&D that we put behind it as well. We do use off-the-shelf sealing technology, but we have further advanced that in-house with quite an extensive research and development program over the last number of years. That's all been driven by Cara, who came up with the initial concept a number of years ago. And again, with that internal research and development that we've done, spent over $500,000, approaching $1 million to further extend that shelf life that really makes this commercially viable and really protects us from competition as well. So it's that unique product. You can see the lunchbox down the bottom right there, and you can see that transferred into a more solid lunchbox, which some of our customers prefer to do. As a result of this innovation that Cara's developed and our team has further developed, we've attracted the attention of federally backed food and beverage accelerator programs, which is a major institution, major program that leverages leading universities across the country, a major one being the University of Queensland here in Brisbane, that we work very closely with now as we participate in leading research to further improve packaging in the food business, food industry sector, as we look to more sustainable packaging. One day we anticipate that we'll be using fully compostable packaging as well. So we're an active business participating in that research, which is world leading, and we look forward to a report being released around that in the coming month or so. So we'll share that with everyone as that's released. We've also been, attracted the attention and support of local city councils as well, and Cara's awards for food innovation, and 40 under 40 awards, all as a result of this product innovation and the scale at which it's been able to reach across not just Queensland, but New South Wales, Victoria, ACT, and now we're looking to launch into South Australia and across over to Perth as well, perhaps later this year. A quick little overview of our success so far. The key highlight here is that we're a traditional startup, like any good startup, like your Googles or Facebooks or Amazon. Started in the home kitchen or in the home garage. So we were only operating from a licensed home kitchen a couple of years ago. Really proven concept, keeping our costs low, establishing the product, determining that the shelf life was there, that we had repeat customers. We got really excited with the traction that was getting. And it was only about just over 12 months ago that we moved into a commercial premises that's really allowed us to start to scale. And now we look forward to making an announcement as we move into a new, much larger commercial premises that will allow us to formally adopt more production line processes to achieve further efficiencies and reduce costs and achieve profitability sooner than planned, which is really exciting. A quick overview of our brand plan. I know everyone here is familiar with Lilly's Little Lunchbox, which is the brand specifically launched for kids' meals, for kids to take to school, daycare, or eat at home. And typically that demographic has been anyone from 2 years old to 22 years old, but typically that younger primary school age. And so it's off the back of that success within that market and developing that product for that demographic, and receiving the demand inquiry that Cara mentioned before from across the country, people living with a disability, seniors over 65, busy adults, people training for sport. We've had all of those demographics reaching out to us saying that they're actually eating our kids' meals, which are perfect for anyone, but the branding was targeted for kids. So as a result of that, when we brought Nat on board a few months ago, or brought her on board a year ago, but a few months ago, we soft launched the Lilly's Active range, which is, as Nat mentioned, a specific branding, same bento style lunchbox, but different branding, more digestible branding by teens and busy adults, so that we can tackle that market. Today, as Cara mentioned, we've launched our home care menu, which is specifically targeting those over 65, including those on the home care package, which is a government supported package very similar to the NDIS, which allows them to have access to our meals and only have to pay a fraction of the costs as the government covers the balance. So we're super excited about having launched our active range for teens and busy adults, launching today our home care range for those over 65. And you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner, our NDIS registration, which we're very proud of, which we received only a few months ago. We've received hundreds of NDIS customers only in the last couple of months without us promoting that, putting any advertising spend or serious communication strategy into place, which we're looking to do very soon as we develop a specific menu for those on the NDIS as well. So all of these different verticals, different product lines, different sectors of the market that we're now targeting over and above that kids market with the Lilly's Lunchbox brand really sets the foundations for what was traditionally just a home delivery for kids meals, which is quite a substantial business proposition in itself, to now have these different sub brands all owned by the same entity. So if you invest in this equity crowd fund, you're invested in this whole group, and giving you access and opportunity for the upside as we launch and scale into those different sectors, which keeps me up at night with the excitement. Once you start running the numbers and the forecasting, and you look at how many people are hungry for a new option, hungry for an alternative to what's currently in the market in those sectors. It's actually quite exciting when you look at what could be in the next 3, 5, 7 years. And we'll touch on that in a second. So we're a traditional ready-made meal business model, but with a very unique product that no one else has. So the business model is traditionally subscriptions. I know a lot of people on this call and people registered to watch after the recording are existing customers or are trialing our meals for the first time. So you'll see that it's a subscription. You receive our meals delivered once a week. They're delivered fresh, refrigerated, and they last a whole week in your fridge before you receive your next delivery of that following week. So having subscriptions as a core KPI or key kind of indicator of performance is our focus moving forward. Obviously, profitability is key as we implement our efficiencies and production line processes in this new premises. But our number one focus is to get as much market share as possible, focus on signing up subscriptions, capturing the market in all those sectors that we mentioned before, NDIS, kids, aged care, etc. And a way that we're really going to help boost that scale is by completing this raise, increasing our B2B sales team internally to support Cara, Nat, and myself as we lock in deals with schools, daycares, pharmacies, sporting clubs, corporates. There's a lot of corporate offices that are reaching out to us wanting to stock our meals, ready to eat meals in their fridges for their staff. So there's a number of sales channels that we're activating right now as we meet that demand effectively that's knocking on our door. So hugely excited about that B2B side of things. That's how we're going to aim to achieve scale very quickly, as well as that third bullet point there, the NDIS and home care, aged care sectors that we're already receiving huge amounts of customer inquiry and orders through since we recently received that NDIS registration. So hugely exciting that we've got those different verticals, multiple sales channels, subscription-based model. We're not rewriting the wheel, or we're using tried and tested business models that are proven to scale. We're very excited about implementing that across Australia. So this is a quick little shot of what we included in our offer document back in 2023 when we had a successful crowdfund back then. Since then, we've launched into New South Wales and Victoria. And now we're looking to, so there's that green tick in Victoria, which we've been active in for the last year or so. And now we're looking to launch into South Australia very shortly, and then from there, bouncing across into Perth. We've covered off the different verticals that we mentioned before, but this just provides a bit more context in terms of the market size, or the size of the pie in each of those sectors that we're looking to go out there and capture. Obviously, we're the first mover in the fresh kids meal space with our ready-to-eat lunchbox that's already scaling into the kids sector. We've got schools and daycares knocking on our door every day, if not every week, if not every day. So that's established and growing as a household name. And then now we're super excited that we can launch our specific branding within the NDIS sector, home care, which we've launched today, and the Lilly's Active range. We've got that target strategy there on each of them, detailing what our customers look like. And once we again complete this raise, and then hire the sales team and B2B team that can start locking in those, or continue to lock in those B2B partnerships to really scale those sales. Conscious of timing here, I'm really keen to get to the Q&A section of this session. This is just to highlight for those that haven't jumped on our Lilly's home care page, which we launched today. This is just a quick little snippet of our printable brochure that's going to be distributed to all home care sectors, aged care, villages, and nursing homes across the eastern seaboard as we launch across Australia. Super excited about that. I'm not sure if you can see the detail there, but when you look at the pricing for these high quality, delicious meals after the government rebate's been applied, what these people are receiving for as little as $4 per meal, it's amazing. It's cheaper for them to buy our meals if they're on the home care package than for them to go and buy premium or cheap products from your major supermarkets. So it's amazing opportunity for people to get high quality nutrition affordably through Lilly's home care. Quick overview of our key focus to date has been market share and acquisition of customers and consistent revenue growth, which we've trended positively ever since we launched. So we're super excited about that. And now as we employ our scale and efficiency processes, we're now going to start to open up further our gross profitability as we aim to achieve net profitability sooner than originally planned, which is exciting for any food business. Very happy to share any research that we've done with those that are interested. It's just a snippet of a 60-page document that we prepared as we've gone out there and assessed our various markets across all those sectors that we're entering into. We've done extensive research. We know who we're talking to. We know who our customer is. And more importantly, we know their behavior and trends and how best to appeal to them with our genuinely unique offering. I mentioned before, I'm sure some of you are aware of our crowdfund that we successfully completed back in 2023. That completed in about June 2023. We had about 280 investors at that stage. We made a range of promises that are listed there on that screen, of which we've ticked off every single one of them, apart from one which is still underway, which is our Perth launch into Perth with our frozen smoothies. We're still excited about doing that and keen to launch as well our food offerings as well in Perth. So all very exciting. We did promise back then that we would be back in about 2 years to raise further capital for new growth opportunities, and that's exactly what we're doing. Back then we moved into a premises which is part of where YouFoods used to operate from, which has been great for us. We've improved our processes and techniques, and now we're going to roll into a new premises through a very strategic partnership with a group that's called Help Enterprises and Into Work. They are a social enterprise, not-for-profit, that skills up NDIS participants and places them into employment across Australia. So we're very fortunate to form a partnership with them. They're giving us access to a substantial manufacturing kitchen where we can also welcome those living with a disability to come and work in our workplace, and opportunity for us. Not only are we NDIS registered serving the community, but it's also a way that we can help to provide a place of work for those that might typically not be able to find employment easily, which is huge for our business and a lot of social good that we're out there trying to do. And I think there's only one or two more slides. This is very important for everyone to understand. I know most people that we've been speaking to are very switched on, very savvy investors, or understand how to analyze business and make a clear decision about investing. So we very much value that about our communities that we engage with. But very clear that very important to understand how these types of businesses operate and when profitability opens up and how valuations work and things like that. So as we look to other players in the space that have done well, specifically with their adult-only meals, those businesses that we look to that provide a good, clear benchmark in terms of how ready-made meals can scale and achieve quite high valuations in the future. Typically, they rely on a couple of key fundamental things, which is at scale, at high volumes of sales, is when us as a business, we're able to then negotiate very discounted, cheap rates as we buy our food, as we buy our packaging. And so they're two of the core input costs when you're creating the product. The third core input cost is direct labor, which we have a very clear strategy on how we are about to address that and reduce that down on an average rate. Part of that is through government rebates, through employing those through the NDIS. But yeah, so as we scale, those input costs actually reduce. Also, as you scale, our fixed overheads get spread over that higher volume, which then further, it's called economies of scale, which further opens up the opportunity for profits. So everybody knows that a startup food business has to reach a certain kind of break-even point, which we've started to do in terms of gross profitability, and all this will be in the offer document, which we're super excited about, to already be achieving gross profitability very clearly. And then we look to, as we scale through these strategies that we mentioned before into the aged care and NDIS spaces, and continuing growth in our kids markets as well. It's at those type of scales that the profitability opens up, and we become more of an attractive acquisition for a potential acquirer, which is a potential exit strategy at this stage, but still early to make any crystal ball kind of forecast. Again, a reminder of our humble beginnings. There's a photo of our little Lilly loading the truck from our home kitchen, which we're just to highlight that we've come a long way in only a short amount of time, and we continue to enjoy that growth. Here's a photo of what we look to a style of manufacturing that we look to implement very soon as we move into the premises through help and help enterprises. So up until now, we've been operating like a standard kind of kitchen, which has been great. We've proven the concept. We've focused on capturing market share. Now we can focus on implementing these types of production line methodologies to drastically reduce down costs, and then again open up that profitability, which is a key focus for us moving forward. Again, conscious of time, I think I might skip through these next couple of slides. Oh, that's it. Important to note that we're being approached by retailers regularly. We've tested a number of premium retailers in Brisbane, learned a lot through a bit of a pilot, couple of months through them, and know that we've got some of the majors knocking on our door, and we're just wanting to make sure that we've got our new production line set up formally, complete this raise. And then as we're out there in the marketplace communicating our NDIS and aged care offerings, we're also going to start to communicate and drive sales to retailers as we lock in those deals as well. So super exciting that there's multiple sales channels for this type of product, rather than so meal kit business, for example, where they are a home delivery service, where they expect their customers to do the work and cook the meals, which is great. I also get meal kits myself, but being a ready-made meal product where we've done all the work for our customers, it's sealed, it lasts 7 days in the fridge, it's fresh. That allows us to not just sell to home delivery customers at their homes. It allows us to be in retail shops. It allows us to be at sporting clubs, schools, daycares, corporate offices. So it's a much larger set of markets that we can attack, which is, again, very exciting. Quick little quote there, just highlighting from the Metcash CEO, the size of the ready-made meal sector and food service sector is growing quite rapidly. Obviously, major grocery stores and supermarket sectors are established, but they're slowly being eaten away, or quite rapidly being eaten away, by ready-made meals. So we're proud to be a leader in the kids meal space, and we want to be quite influential in the NDIS and aged care space as well. So all very exciting. Thank you, everyone. I hope I didn't go too much over time. Really keen to open up to Q&A if that's possible. Emily, I'll just stop sharing now, but thank you, everyone. I hope that all made sense.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. So we've already got quite a few questions coming up. So let's jump right in. So are you currently producing everything yourself, or do you have a co-packer?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, we produce everything ourselves. There might be a small number of inputs that we might outsource, like a muffin or a piece of slice. But in terms of our main meals,
they're all actually my recipes, so it's all made in-house.
Yeah, and we everything from packing the lunch boxes to packing the delivery boxes to our customers. We control everything in-house,
100%.
and other than the distribution, which is all through a leading national cold chain storage and logistics company.
Great, thank you.
Great question.
What differentiates Lilly's Little Lunchbox from competitors in the healthy kids food space?
Okay, I love this question because I know everyone says, there's so much out there for kids, but I just want to reiterate that no one is making lunches for kids that are fresh, healthy, dietitian designed. They're pre-made or pre-packed, I guess you could say. So basically all you need to do is grab that from the fridge, pack it into your child's cooler bag, and you're out the door. So that's what makes us different. The other thing that I want to highlight is the passion and drive behind our business. That can't be replicated. Nobody can copy that story. That's our story. And that is honestly what is one thing that makes us different and makes us stand out. But also too, when it comes to competitors, because we are the leader in this space with making these pre-made meals for kids, we're constantly innovating within our business. And that, I guess, with competitors, if they're copying, they're always going to be 10 steps behind us. I don't know if you've got anything to add.
No, it's perfect. The passion in that, and actually it's called Lily's for a reason, because of the daughter Lilly, and solving a problem that you live with every day. And I do too, as a mother and a parent. So that's what makes it different, I think. And also just the fresh quality dietitian recipes are all Caris. It's not outsourced to someone to bring in recipes. They're all Caris recipes.
There's no additives, no preservatives, no fillers used. It's all fresh quality, high quality ingredients.
Yeah.
Thank you. So currently, how do you manage transport to customers?
Yeah, very good question. Again, this is another, I feel, competitive advantage that we have over potential entrants into this space. And I'll start with a bit of a story. When we first launched Cara and I were doing the deliveries on the weekend around Brisbane. We just launched in Brisbane. We were doing the deliveries in-house. As we started to scale organically, we couldn't handle the hundreds of customers that were coming through. So we were actually hiring staff, hiring trucks, doing the distribution ourselves, hiring refrigerated trucks. And then as we kept scaling, we got demand out of Sydney, across Southeast Queensland, Melbourne. We partnered with it's a very strategic partnership that we enjoy to this day, a leading cold storage and logistics company. It's national, they're very well established, and they don't take on just anyone. They will only take on clients that they see has a future, clients that has a established customer base, or in our case, a product that they believed that the market needed. So if a competitor was to come along and try to leverage into existing cold chain logistics, it might be a challenge, given that we're already there. So we've forged that strategic partnership and have nourished that over the last couple of years. And that allows us to distribute the same way that Light and Easy have operated from Brisbane nationally for about 30 years. Due Foods, for example, HelloFresh operate nationally from Brisbane. We do that similarly as well. We can leverage those distribution networks to get to customers within 24 hours, 48 hours, refrigerated.
Great. So we've actually had a question from somebody who works in aged care, and they currently use Light and Easy to feed their patients, and they're interested around the marketing plan on community care that you're utilising to increase revenue. So what strategies are in place to grow within the NDIS and aged care markets?
I can talk to that if you want. Yep. So part of this raise is to grow our B2B team for our engagement team with the market, which includes client liaison effectively to aged care facilities, care homes, plan managers in the NDIS space, local area managers in the NDIS space. So what we've done up until now is grow the operation team. So we perfected that in terms of creating the product. Now this raise is particularly to help us grow our sales corporate team to lock in those partnerships and communication strategies with the thousands of NDIS operators out there, thousands of aged care operators and facilities, as we roll out clear communication strategies and contracts for supply, which we've already received a number of inquiry even since we launched this morning. So it's just about getting the funds to allow us to have the bandwidth to lock in those arrangements.
And I just want to say as well, with our current 200, I think it's 288, our current shareholders, we have quite a few of them who love reaching out to us or connecting us with, depending on, their own personal connections or their business connections. They love reaching out to us to say, hey, I've got this connection for you. And we are very open to our shareholders doing that. We like to keep open communication with them. So just knowing that if you do become a shareholder, you're definitely part of our team, and we appreciate your support.
Spreading the word amongst the community
100%.
of we're all in this together, and that's what I love too, that I can call Chris and Cara and say, my dad's bowls club would love to talk to Lily's, or our sporting, how do we get it to the youth that are getting ready to participate in Brisbane 2032 when they're competing in sport. So we just continue to use the network, and we're one big family.
100%.
Awesome. So at the moment, which retailers are approaching you to stock the lunchboxes?
Since about 2023, we've been approached by a major group based out of Adelaide, called OTR. They've been talking about stocking our meals in about 200 of their retail outlets in Adelaide and Melbourne. IGA here in Brisbane. We've been in discussions with national fuel retailers, so petrol stations, which we're excited to announce at the right time. Pharmacies. So Lilly's home care range, I think, will be perfect for pharmacies. Yeah, ultimately, to achieve volume, the Coles and Woolworths of the world are there, but we're in no rush to do any of those national major deals. We've got some more low-hanging fruit that we want to lock in and get that right first in terms of premium retailers.
Pharmacies are an interesting one when that was brought up, because I think a lot of our seniors and our elderly population are in there regularly
100%.
for their medicines, and if they can have nutrition, 100%. It would just help their lifestyle.
It's the full story for their health, their wellness, and even just the accessibility of it. So yeah, for them to, sometimes they can't, or a lot of the times they can't prepare meals for themselves, simply because, you know, they could have arthritis, like they could have a medical condition. They may not have the energy to prepare meals for themselves. So that's why, yeah, pharmacies and aged care work very well together.
The great idea. So what is your customer retention rate at the moment for the lunch packs?
Well, depending on the month, we look at this monthly, given that we're so young and changing so often. I know a lot of the majors, the established ready-made meal businesses that focus on adults, they report on annual retention, which I think is about an average of 11% for some of the majors. We look at a month-to-month retention. We look at this regularly, and we're quite happy with our ranges between 40 and 60%. Sometimes it's 30 over the Christmas period. A lot of people switch off over Christmas, which is fine. Not everyone though. But because we're so young and high focus on customer service and high focus on quality of the product, we're quite proud of achieving 60% sometimes month on month. We've got customers that have been around from the very beginning for 3 years, that are still subscribers. Yeah, which is huge. So that's what motivates us to keep going. We know that the customers, once we get it in their hand, they're going to typically come back and sign up for a subscription and stay on that subscription for a while.
Brilliant, thank you. Is there a scope in the future to produce an organic range?
It's definitely a discussion that we participate in a lot. There's literature that supports the organic discussion on both sides of the fence in terms of what's important, what's not important for health and environmental sustainability. It's something that we've reported on across our socials in the past as well. So it's definitely on our mind. Again, we look forward to completing this raise and increasing our bandwidth to be able to focus on the many demands that the market's coming to us with. And that's everything from halal certification to organic ranges in our menus as well. So it's definitely on the agenda to continue to consider, and we're part of the discussion. So the more that people reach out and demand these types of things, the more that we focus on doing the research first, determining what's best and what aligns with the research and what we can deliver best. But yeah, on the radar.
Speaking of expanding into, what people are looking for from your audience, are you looking at expanding into the weight loss markets?
In regards to that, we're obviously designing therapeutic meals. That is something where I feel these meals, because they incorporate the 5 core food groups, they are, these are perfect for anyone needing a weight loss diet anyway as an adult. It's not something that we've specifically gone out and developed, but I will say there are many people using or purchasing our meals who have had the weight band surgery, because they find that the portions are perfect. So by all means, because it's real food, they're perfect for that situation already.
Great. So, are you currently catering to customers with food allergies or sensitivities?
We do. We cater to anyone who's got needing gluten-free, egg-free, dairy-free, and we've got vegetarian meals as well.
Awesome. And what are the key age ranges for uptake for Lily's Little Lunchbox, and how do the meals cater for the age range in primary schools?
So we've got kids as young as 2 to 3 years old having our meals. So Lily's Little Lunchbox is perfect for those who are in primary school. And then that's also why we developed Lily's Active. So it's heavier than, I know it's hard to see on camera, but it's actually much heavier than Lily's Little Lunchbox. It's higher in energy, higher in protein. There's actually a hummus stick that comes with this one as well. I just don't have it with us today. So that's how it ranges in the ages. But we've got adults that are ordering these. I know Chris and Nat have eaten Lily's Little Lunchbox for lunch, and I can't get through a full one of these. I normally end up snacking on it in the afternoon. Because it's real food, it's healthy food, it's got your protein in there as well, you're going to feel full. So it's perfect.
Actually,
It's even got a little bit of sweet too, so when you want your cup of tea or your cup of coffee, there's a little...
You've got your 3 p.m. treat.
Perfect, and not a big oversized muffin or piece of banana bread that sometimes we go looking for when we have that little bit of craving. The reason that it works as a complete balanced diet is because of that protein. And I've learned enough through Cara and enough through my sporting journey to know about the protein, carbohydrates, fats, and it is a perfect for me. Now I'm not competing full time. The balance and the portion controls are perfect for my journey.
And I just want to say as well, when packing, this is a little bit off topic, but when packing kids' lunchboxes, sometimes, I know I've done it before, sometimes we pack too much for our kids, and then the whole lunchbox comes home full, and the parents are like, oh my God, why is my child not eating their food? It can be very overwhelming when there's a lot of food in a lunchbox. They just don't know where to start. So that's why these have been designed the way that they have, incorporating the 5 core food groups. It's not overwhelming for a primary school child to have a look at that and decide what they want to eat.
So this is quite a similar question to what you've been talking about. Somebody has said that the Lily's Active range seems like quite a large serving for a school child for lunch. Their child trains most days of the week, but would you consider doing a mini version of the Active range, which caters for school lunch boxes in a smaller serving?
100%.
We're only just getting started.
Definitely. All this feedback I love, because we take customer feedback quite seriously. We love hearing from our customers. So put it in an email and I will 100% have a chat with you about that. I love all those questions.
So somebody has asked about data around revenue and outgoings over the past years. So all of that will be covered in the offer document when the offer goes live. So if you haven't expressed interest in the campaign already, please do so via the Birchal website. I'll pop the link in the chat box, and you'll be the first to know when the offer does go live, and you'll be able to see how the use of funds will be allocated as well. So at the moment, how many schools are you currently stocked in? This viewer, his wife works in the school system as a guidance officer and thinks that it's a fantastic product that could be provided within schools themselves. How would this work with the government contract business, or would you just consider private schools for this type?
Amazing question. That's good. So we've pilot tested with schools, about 3 different schools and daycares, 4 schools and daycares, to perfect the partnership model. And as a result of those pilots, we've now got 2 partnership options that we can start rolling out to schools. We have a database of about 50, 70 schools that have reached out wanting to engage our service in some way. So now that we've done the pilot studies, we've got those 2 options that I mentioned, which one of them being a revenue share model, which allows a school to on-sell our product within their school and clip the ticket and share in the revenue, or another one where we do all the work, the parents order directly through us, we deliver to the school. So there's different options. We've started early discussions with some of the state and territory governments as well, because we're definitely keen to have a top-down approach in terms of decision making, and as schools are getting their funding from the state and territory governments, as they're getting their funding for their school and nutrition and tuck shop programs, we definitely are starting to be part of that discussion and want to continue to be part of that discussion. That's huge from a commercial perspective and scale perspective for us. But again, part of this raise is to grow our sales team that can be locking in those partnerships as we roll out to schools and daycares and saying, look, you do have a tuck shop. Do you want this partnership? You don't have a tuck shop, or your tuck shop only operates a couple of days a week. How about this particular partnership? So we have optionality there. And again, we very much value our existing shareholders and potential shareholders nominating their school, getting us in touch with their P&C, starting that conversation, and then we can determine what the best solution is for them.
And that's been instrumental in the sporting side, so sporting clubs, and introducing us to a variety of different sports or teams out there, and building those partnerships as well.
Because most sport canteens or tuck shops have sausage rolls and pies, and that aren't Cara's sausage rolls with the vegetables in them. So I'm very passionate about making sure there's healthy choice options for our growing kids in the sporting sphere.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so just to loop back to whoever asked that question, I guess we'll get the detail, Emily, and we'd love to respond and or continue the conversation if you mentioned that you were associated with the school in some way. So part of our growth strategy is to connect with our community of investors and advisors, because everyone's connected to a school in some way or a sporting club. And now, as they become aware of our products, then it becomes a no-brainer that we can do a supply arrangement.
Brilliant. Thank you. Are you looking to expand into any Asian style meals for kids that are at school age?
Definitely. We are always broadening our menu. So yes, that is definitely something that we are wanting to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Brilliant.
Oh,
sorry.
So we're only just beginning, right? So we've proven the concept. We've developed quite an extensive range so far, but we've got a lot of ideas in the pipeline that'll be released this year, and new menus.
And Cara's curry chicken is really good in the active range.
Yes, the butter chicken. Yes, I love developing and creating. I love it. So yes.
Brilliant. So someone has asked about the expected return on investment, and what milestones should investors expect. So as this is a relatively early stage startup, it's not something that can be predicted at this point, because it could be considered quite speculative, as there's not a relatively long basis to go off, because obviously the business has only been around for a few years at this point. So unfortunately, we're not able to give an expected return on investment or milestones in that kind of sense. I can actually direct you to the help guide on the Birchal website that can give you a little bit more information on early stage startups and what you can expect to see in the offer document when it does go live in terms of disclosure. But unfortunately, we're not able to give that information at the moment. But I think that is our last question of the day. It's perfect timing because we only had 1 minute left. So if anybody online has not expressed interest in the campaign, I've popped the link in the chat box. So please head to the website, express your interest so you're the first to know when the offer does go live, and you'll be able to invest in the offer in the priority access period, which will just be open to those who express interest in the campaign. All of that will be communicated with you via email. If you don't see it in your inbox, check your junk mail because it can sometimes go there. But thank you so much for all of the information that you've shared today and spending the time with us. We really appreciate it and really excited to see how we go in the investment offer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.